Hey kids, hope y'all had a great 4th of July. I know some of you saw fireworks, and I'm glad had a safe, eventful weekend. I'm going to turn to some more for you older kids here. More of the Queen Elizabeth's letters here that I read last weekend. I was coming upon one from 4th December 1924 to D.R.C. Osborne. From 60 B.S. Avenue, Delina, Paris, en route to Africa. Dear Miss Osborne, it is very, very nice of you to give me a belt, which I wanted terribly. So funny. But it was the one thing I forgot, and I was enchanted when I received it today. Thank you so much. I was on the point of writing and making a date with you several times lately. But in the end, I was so terribly busy that I saw nobody at all. There were all sorts of things that I wanted to speak with you about, and now I must put it off until April, which is annoying. I'm feeling slightly mingled in my feelings about going to Africa, as I hate the discomfort, and so afraid that I shall not like the heat or that mosquitoes will bite my eyelids and the tip of my nose, or that I shall not be able to bath often enough. Or I shall hate the people on the other hand. I think it is good for one to go away and see a little life, and then think how pleased I shall be to get home again. Do write me a letter or two from the Foreign Office. I like the paper, and if you ask at White Lodge, they will give my address. So I believe we shall be staying in Nairobi with the governor for some time anyway for letters. What fun is what fun Paris is yesterday. We went to Versailles and walked in the gardens, which looked so lovely and forlorn and empty. And in the evening went to the Casino de Paris, where for the first time in my life I saw ladies with very little on, and somehow it was not in the least indecent. Then we went to dance hall full of dot Russians and Argentines, and then to a tiny place where we drank off a coffin surrounded by skeletons and exchanging very vulgar badinage with man carrying a huge ball, and then to Russia Place, where I enjoyed myself so much being very fast and throwing balls at rather nice Americans, and then to a tiny place with several Negroes with delicious voices who sang and sang. Now I'm just off to Africa, so I'll be here, and thousand thanks for the bell. Yours sincerely, Alice. And keep in mind, this was written in 1924. On the 1st December 1924, the Duke and Duchess set off for Paris, the first leg of a journey to East Africa, which has been inspired by a conversation the Duchess had with Winston Churchill at dinner on 27 June 1920. Many people knew that, knew the Queen of it. I remember sitting next to him at dinner just off after we were married, and he said, "Now look here, you're a young couple. You ought to go and have a look at the world." "I should go. East Africa," he said. "It got a great feature, that country." So we did. We went on. We spent about 5 months. We walked in Kenya and Uganda, right down to the Nile. We went up the Nile to Sudan. And I have always been grateful to him, because I don't think we would have thought going. It was one of the best bit of one's life. Now, for all you kids, again, that's counting one's blessings selected letters of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen's mother, edited with a preface by William Shawcross. Library. Support libraries all over the world. Trying to keep you all going, especially bookstores. Kids, I have a book that's going to blow your mind. The illustration on here, the detail alone. Western, no less. An Easter story of faith, inspiration, and courage. Sunrise Hill, it's titled, written by Kathleen Long Bostrom. A story by Rick Johnson. Ain't that a pretty book? That's a thought. Dad on horseback watching his kid. Play. Sunrise Hill. Mm-hmm. Gather up, kids, your blankets here. Caleb sat on the edge of the bench outside the town general store. Any minute now, their train would arrive, bringing his Uncle Josh to town. Uncle Josh wasn't just Caleb's uncle, and he wasn't just coming to visit. He was a preacher, and he traveled to different towns. Help folks build churches. He was coming to Caleb's town to do just that. The screeching of the metal train wheels and the billows of steam as the train slowed to a stop sent Caleb's heart racing. There he is, Pa! Caleb shouted as a tall man with a red beard climbed out of the passenger. See him waving? See Caleb waving? Look at that. The train station. Jacob, it's good to see you again. Uncle Josh shook Pa's hand. It's been a long time. Uncle Josh bent down and ruffled Caleb's hair. You must be Caleb, he said, and by my guess, you'd be 10 years old now, Caleb beamed. Uncle Josh had hardly unpacked before he went to get started on the new church. He wanted it finished by Easter, only 3 months away. Uncle Josh didn't figure. He had even time to wait. So although there was still snow on the ground, he rode his horse from farm to farm, talking with folks about a new church where people could worship God. He also spent a lot of time looking for the perfect place to put the church building. I hope y'all learn some English. Those of you trying to learn English, y'all follow some pages. See, I'm looking out the window. Now, if you're not near a bookstore or a library, suggest you go online at barnesandnobles.com. They got all kinds of books. You just order one, and they mail it right to you for your parents. One night at supper, Pa gave the blessing. The amen was hardly out of his mouth when Uncle Josh announced, I found it, the place where we're going to build our church. Uncle Josh had a few cornbread crumbs catching in his beard. This morning I was looking for a place to say my prayers. My horse seemed to lead me to the top of that tall hill over yonder. Then I saw it. Saw what? Caleb asked. The sunrise, Uncle Josh whispered. It was the most beautiful sunrise I ever seen. As if all the colors God ever came rising up out of the earth. Light was pushing through darkness until the whole sky lifted up in flares of glory. I just knew the Lord had led me to that hilltop. That's where we're going to build us our church. Sunrise Church on Sunrise Hill. They sat at the dinner table discussing it. As soon as winter began to pass, townsfolk started building the church. People got all fired up about having their own church. Well, most of those folks, except for one, don't need no church, said Big George. The town's blacksmith. Nonsense, all of it. Why does Big George say such things? Caleb asked Mom one day. Well, Caleb, some folks get hurt so bad by life, they just seem to get all hard and mean. She reached over to brush the hair of his eyes. You see, Big George lost his mom and pa when he was just a boy. Their farmhouse burned down. George was the only one that survived. Caleb's mom's eyes filled with tears. George was raised by his aunt and uncle. They were good people, but a person don't ever get over such a loss. He blamed God for what happened. Caleb put his arms around Mom. He couldn't imagine life without his mom and pa. You see that? Caleb looking at the blacksmith. Throughout the early spring, the men cut trees, hauled logs, and sawed boards. Some of the women fixed pails and biscuits, jam, sliced of ham, and pots of hot coffee. Other women sewed up curtains and banners and cushions for the inside of the church. And all the children were old enough to help too. When they weren't squealing rolling down the hill, they carried buckets and nails to the work. Their biggest job, however, was to stay out of the way of the work. The townsfolk spent every spare moment working on the church or talking about it. Little by little, the building rose on Sunrise Hill. Without about a month to go before Easter, Sunrise Church was nearly finished. Just a few coats of paint and some cleaning up, and the church would be ready for that big day. Folks could hardly wait for their first Easter in their very own church. They pulled their good clothes out of trunks where they'd been packed away for years. The general store sold yards and yards of clothes and shiny buttons as women sewed up new clothes for their young. You see them helping out? Building trying to build a church. Quite a sight. Early Sunday morning, 2 weeks before Easter, Caleb awoke to a loud crash and bang. Thunderstorm, he thought sleepily, and got up to close his window. The sky outside glowed a strange red. And Caleb rubbed his eyes and looked again. A chill ran down his spine like a trickle of cold rain. What's happening? He'd better get Pa and Uncle Josh. He hurried down the hall to Uncle Josh's room and tapped on the door. Uncle Josh called out, "What is Caleb? What is it, Caleb?" Caleb was too scared to speak. He pulled Uncle Josh to the window and drew back the curtain. Uncle Josh gasped. "Caleb, quick, get your paw," he said, pulling on his breeches. "Ride into town, fast as you can, and ring that school bell. Looks like lightning struck the church. It's on fire." See Caleb running down the hallway. Damn. Keep in mind, it was just a storm. As soon as folks heard the bell ring, they knew something was wrong. "Fire!" Caleb yelled out. "The church is on fire." Some people gathered blankets to smother the fire, carried buckets of water. When he could, Caleb rushed up Sunrise Hill to help. Surely he thought God wouldn't let a church burn down, especially before Easter. But when he burst over the top of the hill, he saw it. It was too late. The church was gone. Nothing was left but a few charred timbers and a few full of glowing ash. Uncle Josh was standing with a group of men, their faces and clothes smeared with soot and smoke. He was shaking hands with the men and thanking them for trying to save the church. "We're sorry, Pastor Josh," they said. He looked as if all his energy had drained right out of the soles of his feet. See him trying to put the fire out? One by one, the folks who had built the church and then tried to save it turned and walked slowly away. Pa put his arm around Uncle Josh's shoulder. "Let's go home," he said. Uncle Josh nodded. The whole town was sad because of what had happened. It was as if there had been death in the town. All the excitement of building the church was gone. People hardly spoke to each other when they met in town. When the train came, it was with a monthly supply of new things. No one bothered to see what had come. But worst of all, Uncle Josh couldn't bear to see him moping around the house. Uncle Josh had put his heart and soul into the building of that church. Nothing anybody said or did seemed to rouse him for a sorrow. See him pondering what to do next? He put all that fire out. Man. 1 week before Easter, Caleb got an idea. Saturday morning was up early, rode into town. His first stop was blacksmith's shop. Big George looked sideways when Caleb walked in all alone. "What you want, boy?" He said. "I ain't got no time for it away." When he raised the hammer in his hand, the muscles in his arms bulged like a sack of snakes. Clean went the hammer against the animal. Caleb held his hand in his hands as he came by to say, "I'm sorry," he said. "Sorry," Big George bellowed at the hammer came crash down on the iron end. "What you got to be sorry about?" "I'm sorry about your mom and pa," Caleb said softly. Big George stopped and wiped his forehead with his sleeve. "That was a long time ago," he said. "Back when I was about your age. Me and God ain't been on speaking terms since. Sorry ain't gonna change now." Big George turned his back on Caleb. "Nonsense, all." Caleb heard George mutter as he raised the hammer and brought it down on the end. Caleb stood watching for a while, then turned and left the blacksmith shop. He didn't go home right away. He had a lot of folks to visit. His special plan was going to work. See him trying to help out with the blacksmith? Look at that. The week passed, and when it was Easter morning, Caleb woke before dawn and crept down the hall to Uncle Josh's room, and knocked. "Come in," Uncle Josh said. Caleb stepped into the room. "Happy Easter, Uncle Josh," he said, gazing around at the mess. Clothes were strewn out on the bed and the chair. There were heaps of paper crumpled up on the floor. Uncle Josh usually kept his room as neat as could be. Happy Uncle Josh sat up in bed and laughed softly. "Not much of a happy Easter this year, Uncle Josh." Caleb spoke softly. "It's Easter. Don't you reckon we ought to go to church?" Uncle Josh choked out a pitiful laugh. "Church," he said. "Boy, there's no church. It burned down, remember?" "Please, Uncle Josh," Caleb said. "Please get dressed and come to church with me." Uncle Josh shook his head as if Caleb lost his mind, but he took the clothes Caleb handed to him. You see that? He's all tired. It was very early in the morning, dark as pitch, when they reached the crest of Sunrise Hill and looked out to where the church should have been. Stretching before them was nothing but charred, blackened earth and charred bits of wood. At that moment, the sun began to rise as if all the colors God ever made came rising out of the earth, pushing aside the darkness that the whole sky lifted up in a blaze of glory. "I don't get it," Uncle John said. "It seemed to be right building the church. I felt sure it was the Lord wanted me to do now. Now, I don't know, maybe I wasn't listening hard enough to God." "I think you listened real good," Caleb said as they climbed down off their horse. He bent down. "Looky here," he said softly. Caleb pushed aside a pile of blackened earth, poking out a suit and ashes with purple and white crocus and yellow buttercups. "New life rising out of death," he said. "Isn't that what it was? Easter is all about. It isn't about how nothing can stop God's love from busting out into the world. Not a person, not a fire, not death, not anything." Uncle Josh put his arm around Caleb and chuckled. "Hey," said, ruffling his hair, "who's the preacher here anyway?" "There's more," Caleb said, pointing down Sunrise Hill. "You see that? Uncle Jake." Caleb. Uncle Josh stood up. "Oh my," he said, coming up the hill in all directions, where folks in the horses and wagons and carriages are just walking. Some were dressed in their Easter finery, others in their work clothes. The whole town was coming to church. Uncle Josh stood there with a grin so big his face looked about to split. "You have something to do with this, boy?" Caleb just smiled. Seeing all the people stand there in the ashes of the church seemed to do something to Uncle Josh. He raised his arms. His face lit up. And inside out and shouted, everyone could hear, "Hallelujah, folks, it's Easter. Jesus is alive, the sun has risen, and so has the Son of God." Amen, the people called back. See them looking on. That he got him started. He began pacing back and forth right about where the pulpit would have been. "Now, those first believers didn't have a church," he said, "but did that stop them?" "No," everyone shouted. "On Easter morning, they found an empty grave, just like we came here today and found an empty hillside." "Did that stop them?" "No," everyone shouted. Uncle Josh went on. "Now, I have to confess to all of you. I was mighty depressed when the church burned down. I wondered if somehow I missed that God, what God had wanted me to do, but I found out that we don't need a building to have a church. We are the church because we believe. And Jesus Christ is risen and lives forever, whether we have a church building or not." Hallelujah, the people shouted. Just then there was a movement at the back of the crowd. A tall, broad-shouldered man moved out the shadows. People stepped aside to let Big George pass. He walked straight up to Uncle Josh. He handed him a rumpled package, all tied up in a brown paper and string. Go ahead, Pass Joe, open it. Big George said, this is a church service, ain't it? Well, here's my Easter offering. People strained to see as Uncle Josh pulled at the string. He ripped off the paper. There in his hands was a shiny iron pearl. Made of huge nails, Big George had pulled from the burned timbers of the old church. For the new church, Big George mumbled. For the new church, Uncle Josh shouted. He raised the cross of nails over his head. Everyone jeered. Uncle Josh led people in a few songs and closed the service in prayer. The service was over. People gathered up their children in the blankets they'd been sitting on. Christ is risen, they said, hugging one another. See the cross? Look at that. Big George made that as by tearing. Kid saw Big George turn to leave, ran over to the big blacksmith. Hey, Big George, stop. That was right nice thing you done, making that cross, Kid. Oh, it ain't much, Big George answered. Does this mean you and God are speaking to you? Caleb blurted out. Big George put his hand on, then he reached over and shook Caleb's hand. Nonsense, all of it. He said, but this time, he said, was it with a big smile. Caleb watched as Big George jumped on his horse and started to ride away. Caleb called, Happy Easter, Big George. Christ is risen. Big George says, Happy Easter, Caleb. He is risen indeed. Man. Now it goes. Anything's possible. Put your heart and your mind in the right place. People don't need buildings to pray. Miracles happen every day, kids. All you have to do is believe in such miracles. Pray real hard that God watches over you and your family and your friends. And when you're in a playground, remember to share. As I said before, sharing shows you care about one another. Be kind to each other. Just because one kid had a bad day or went home, all of a sudden parents start arguing, that doesn't make it right to come back to school or your daycare and take it out on the next kid. Not their fault. It's two parents having a misunderstanding with one another, and sooner or later, God has it, things always work out for the better. Now I know some of you kids ain't got parents. I pray real hard you do one day. Finding parents worthy of you that can comfort you, educate you, show you the guiding light to a better life. Not the life they had, but a better life. Show you direction. Remembering calling what it's like to be a kid at heart. What their parents did for them. Showing you the American dream. Hope all of you are taking it easy and watching your health. And remember to eat your vegetables. Vegetables are important. Now, let me see if I have one more chance for one more book story. Oh, you thought it was over? Page to drive it a little closer. I thought I'd read a personal favorite of mine, The Rescuers by Walt Disney. Ta-da! A favorite of mine. Recommended by Disney's Wonderful World of Reading. Random House, New York, published. Rescues in Society. You ever seen the Rescuers Down Under, the movie? You should see it. Go to Walt Disney too, kids. Orlando, Florida. The Rescue Society was having a meeting. Mice members had come from all over the world. We help anyone, anywhere, they said. Someone needs our help, said Chairman Mouse. We found a bottle in the river. There's a note in it. Bernard, the janitor, got the note out. see them all gathering for the meeting? Look at that. The mice stood around the note. The paper was wet, so the words were hard to read. But Bianca was very smart now. She read the note out loud. Dear Morningside Orphanage, I am in terrible trouble. Please hurry, help. Penny. Oh, that poor little girl, said all the mice. Who will go and rescue Penny? Asked the chairman. I will, said Bianca. You can't go all by yourself, cried the chairman. Bianca thought a moment. I'll take Bernard with me. She said, we'll make a great team. Bernard was a surprise. Gosh, Miss Bianca. He said, thanks. See? Look at that. Bernard and Bianca did not know where Penny was, but they did know where the Morningside Orphanage was. They decided to go there. The night was dark and rainy. How could they get inside? At last they found an open window. They stood on the window and peeked into the children's room. All the children were fast asleep. What happened next? Just kidding. That didn't happen. Close it off. At last they found an open window. They stood up on the window sill and peeked into the children's room. All the children were fast asleep. The rescuers crept inside to have a look around. Bianca pointed to the closet. Let's look in there, she whispered. Y'all can come out from those covers now. Come on. Inside the closet, Ma saw a big box full of Penny's things, but they did not see Rufus, the cat sleeping beside the box. Now we're getting somewhere, said Bernard. At least we know Penny used to live here. Shh. They don't want to wake up the cat. Rufus. Can you see him? Bianca was too late. All of a sudden, Rufus woke up. Bernard and Bianca got ready to run. You don't have to worry about me, said Rufus. I'm too old to chase after me. We are looking for Penny, said Bianca. She is in terrible danger. Can you tell us where she is? Asked Bernard. I am the only one who knows where she is. But no one has ever asked me. Rufus told the mice how Penny disappeared. One night, a woman named Medusa had come to the office with a man called Snoop. They kidnapped Penny. They said they were taking her to look for diamonds in Devil's Bayou, said Rufus. Devil's Bayou, cried Bernard. How will you ever get there? Don't worry, darling, said Bianca. We'll fly. Early the next morning, Bernard and Bianca rushed to the airport. Captain Orville of Albatross Airlines was just coming in for a bumpy landing. Flight 13 to Devil's Bayou takes off in 5 minutes, said the captain. 13 is not my lucky number, said Bernard. Let's take the train. Nonsense, said Bob. We don't have time. Bernard and Bianca climbed aboard. Fasten your seatbelts, said the captain. Then Captain Orwell began to run. See him getting ready to take off. Look at that. Up, up, and they flew. I love flying, cried Bianca. Bernard did not love flying. He was scared, but he soon settled down for a long trip to Devil's Bay. 2 days later, Snoops and Medusa were looking at their stolen jewels on the old boat in Devil's Bay. We have enough diamonds already, Medusa said. Let's get out of this creepy place. Are you crazy? Shouted Medusa. We can't leave until Penny finds the devil's diamond. It's the biggest diamond in the world. I want it. Snoops said Medusa. Snoops and Medusa didn't see Penny tiptoe out. See me? By the time Medusa stopped shouting, Penny was gone. Medusa was so angry she gave Snoops a whack on the head. I told you to keep an eye on that kid. She said Medusa called her a pet crocodile. Brutus, Nero, bring Penny back. Medusa ran outside and jumped into her swamp mobile. She started the engine and began to sputter. I will look so, said Medusa, and she zoomed away. See her trying to chase after Penny? Look at that. And Swampmobile. Just at that moment, Captain Orville flew over. Devil's Bayou, Bernard, and Bianca held on tight. The albatross landed in the swamp, where they bombed. The rescuers thanked the captain, and then they went to meet the swamp folks, Luke, Ellie, Mae, and Evan Ruth. We came here to rescue a girl named Penny. Do you know where she is? She's on the old riverboat, said Ellie Mae. But you never get away from Medusa. Every time the little girl runs off, Medusa sends those crocodiles after her. Here, they come now, said Luke. Bernard and Bianca hid in the grass. They saw Bruce and Nero carrying Penny and her teddy bear back to the riverboat. We must follow them, said Bianca. I can take you in, Evan Ruth. Bernard and Bianca got in the Evan Ruth's boat. Buzz, buzz, Evan Ruth flapped his wings. Good luck with the rescue, called Ellie Mae, and Bernard and Bianca buzzed away. You see that? When the crocodiles brought Penny back to the boat, Medusa snatched Penny's teddy bear. I won't give him back until you find the devil's eye. Diamond for me, shouted Medusa. I looked all over the cave, said Penny. I can't find that diamond anywhere. You'll find it tomorrow, said Medusa, or you'll never see your teddy bear again. The rescuers waited until Medusa was gone, then they jumped into Penny's windowsill. Penny was very surprised to see the two mice. We have to come and rescue you, they said, to follow us. We'll get away in the Swampmobile. But Penny didn't want to go without her teddy bear. So Bernard and Bianca hid it in her room. We'll help you to find the diamond, they said. You see that? The next morning, Medusa and Snoops led Penny into the swamp. They took her to the black hole to look for the devil's eye diamond. Penny held on to a long rope, and Snoops and Medusa dropped into a deep hole. But Penny was not afraid. Bernard said Bianca were hiding in her pocket. When they reached the bottom, Penny shined her light all around. This was a pirate's cave, she said. It was full of diamonds, but Medusa wants the big one. Well, let's look for it, said Bianca. Then we can get your teddy bear and go. Suddenly Bernard ran into the corner. He saw some old pirate's bones, and he saw something big and shiny. I think I found it, cried Bernard. Penny and Bianca came closer. Bernard had found the devil's eye. It really was the biggest diamond in the world. Now Medusa will give my teddy bear, said Penny. Bernard and Bianca hid in the Penny's pocket, then pulled on a long rope. Snoops pulled Penny up quickly, and as soon as Medusa saw the devil's eye, she grabbed it. Oh, my beautiful diamond, she said. Your diamond, Snoops cried. Half of that diamond is mine. He tried to look at it. Medusa gave Snoops a hard push. Get away from me, fatso, she shouted. I'm taking the diamond. And the teddy bear, too. Medusa started running toward the boat. The others followed her as fast as they could go. Medusa rushed into her room and took out the needle of her hair. She began to sew the diamond into Penny's teddy bear. I will leave Snoops and Penny here in Devil's Bay, said Medusa. That will be all mine. Just as Medusa finished sewing, Snoops burst through the door. Give me half of the diamond, he said. Penny was right behind. Give me my teddy bear, she said. Medusa put the teddy bear under her arm and began to run. But Medusa did not look where she was going. Suddenly she tripped on the loose floor, bored up in the air, and went up into the air and went the teddy bear. Down on the floor went Medusa. Penny reached out to catch her teddy bear. Run for the Swampmobile, cried Bernard and Bianca. See, she fell, and Penny caught her teddy bear back. Look at that. Holding on to her teddy bear, Penny ran into the Swampmobile. 1, 2, 3, Bernard and Bianca and Penny all jumped in. Then Penny tried to start the engine. The Swampmobile began to sputter. Penny zoomed away. Hooray, hooray, cried Bernard and Bianca, dancing on the steering wheel. Stop, stop, shouted Snoop. Bring back my diamond, cried Medusa. But Penny and the rescuers did not hear them. They were all on their way home. 2 days later, the Rescuers Aid Society had another meeting. The mice were watching Penny on the news. She told the man how she had found the diamond in her teddy bear. Now it belonged to Morningside Orphanage. But how did you get away? Asked the man. Two little mice rescued me, said Penny. 3 cheers for Banana, cried all the mice. When the meeting was over, the chairman read a note. Someone else was in trouble. Will you go to the rescue, Banana? Said Banana. The chairman asked. Shall we go? Said Banana. Of course, said Banana. We make a great team. Once again, Banana and Banana flew up into the air with Captain Orville. The rescuers were off on a long trip. We help anyone, anywhere, they said. The Now you kids have a great night. Remember to say your prayers that God watch over you as you sleep away this night. And when you awake, I hope you have a good day. Remember to hug yourself and those around you. Much love. Enjoy this summer while it is, because sooner or later it's going to come to an end. And before you know it, you're off to school again. Burning those minds of you. Much love right here at Clarksville, Tennessee, my home. Caring about